This is the Diana Wright Show, live online. We begin now, and we welcome you from around the world and in the United States as we will try to inspire you and give you some information that you might not even have thought about or, had time to research or anything of that nature. So we thank you. And we hope you would stay with us, and we hope you will spread the word about the show. And we certainly hope that you will give us the thumbs up on Facebook and also like us on Facebook. That's a good thing. You can tweet us too, and you can give us an email send us an email at dianawrighttv@gmail.com. And of course, we invite you to visit our web store and purchase one of our t-shirts, because our crusade here is simply I Love Me. And of course, the National I Love Me Day declared by the Diana Wright Show live online is April 30th. And we ask you to not only love yourself, but teach your children and your husband and your significant other and your friends and family members. Teach them to love themselves. There's always one brave person in every family, okay? So I just ask for you to do that for me. And if you're wherever you are right now, you don't even have to go to the mirror. Just say to yourself, I love me. And, guys, if you don't want to bother with the I, because I know, men seem to like things nice, short and sweet. So just say, love me. All right. And either way you want your shirts as a male shirt, we will give it to you the way you want it. If you want I love me or you want just love me, that's fine too. All right. So just keeping that in mind. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show or a partner with the show, or if you'd like to advertise on the show, we invite you to give us a call at 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. And I begin this evening in Haiti, because you see Papa Doc. No, not this time. It's Baby Doc. Remember him? Yes. In Haiti, the ex-ruler, Baby Doc Duvalier, he attended court today. He attended court, but he was missing it a few times before. So Jean-Claude decided to appear in court, and he is determined. It's just amazing how these guys just kind of swindle their countries, and then they go away and they come back. And, I guess before they couldn't find him to charge him, or he was in France or whatever it was. So he's being charged with crimes against humanity. All right. And this is the first time Baby Doc has decided to actually appear in court. I guess his lawyers were representing him before, and he now has to face his victims. Some of the people that were victimized under his rule. He returned to Haiti in 2011. I'm sure you all remember that. And after spending 25 years in exile in France. I guess France was not as nice as Haiti, maybe? Or he couldn't live the life of power and lavishness as he did in Haiti. Well, I'm kind of wondering what happened to all that money that they said he, kind of bled from the country. What did he do with it? One judge is determined to find out where he put that money that he embezzled from Haiti. So, human rights groups say hundreds of political prisoners were tortured or killed while Duvalier ruled the country from 1971 to 1986. The courtroom was packed with backers of Duvalier and, of course, the victims of Duvalier. So his lawyer is asking for the sessions to be, listen to this now, be held in private, saying he's not well. So if he's not well, why did he even come back to Haiti? Did he just want to pass away and die in Haiti? I think I heard him say something like that when he returned. He wanted to come back to his homeland. So I wonder, when he was in France for the past 25 years, did he think about Haiti? Did he try to help Haiti? Well, now he's back. And it seems like he's going to pay for his crimes. I'm not quite sure how. And I'm not quite sure that the judge is going to grant them private sessions. I don't see why that should be, because he should face his victims. Whomever he tortured that are still alive, I'm sure they'd want to see him face to face. Those who died, well, their families maybe can represent them. Because you see, rulers of countries in Africa, in Haiti, in some of the Caribbean islands, they get power and they just don't want to give it up. And that's the reason I say that the Pope needs our respect and deserves our respect, because it's just not the norm for a man with such power to give it up. All right? So I'm here to say that to you, and I would like for you to think of Haiti. Haiti has struggled for such a long time, devastated by that earthquake. And now here they're dealing with their ruler, who basically embezzled a lot of their money. And he's now asking to have sessions in private? Absolutely not. So, I don't know if you're Haitian and how you feel about this whole thing, but I just believe, how dare he even ask for that privilege to do it in private? How so? Because he's not well? I saw him on television. He looked fine to me. Well, they say looks are deceiving. So anyway, let me read something to you at this particular time. That is actually what I wrote down. Lying, loyalty, love. If you love yourself, you have no need to lie. If you love yourself, being loyal comes easy. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I think so. Very interesting thought. I just wrote that down and I kind of went over it and decided if I was going to read it this evening. And then as I sat here, I said, yes, I'll read this. Because there's absolutely no need to lie and no need to be disloyal. Give that loyalty. And when you're loyal, life is wonderful. Loyalty is one of my big pet peeves when I have a friend or anyone, family member or whatever, that's close to me. Loyalty is most important, because even if you want to criticize me or I've done something that you think is wrong, do not be disloyal to me behind my back. Come to me and say to me, I didn't like what you did there. I think you could have done it this way. Well, maybe you need to reconsider. Or, defend me. And then chastise me behind the scenes, like Mr. Duvalier wants to be in private. Okay? So chop my head off in private, but don't do it in public, because that is disloyalty. Yeah. You're being very disloyal when you do something like that to your friends or your family members. Don't throw them to the wolves in public. Defend them in public, and then in private you say what you did was wrong. All right? So, it was interesting to watch yesterday when Senator Lindsey Graham was grilling the police chief of Milwaukee. His name is Edward Flynn, yeah? And Edward Flynn, I just wish I could give him a kiss. He just called out Senator Graham and embarrassed him because the senator was trying to, tell him or get out of him how they prosecute people, who they find out that did something with a gun or whatever. And the guy just got ticked off with him and challenged him and interrupted him too. Okay? And until he got his point. And this is what Flynn said. Paper chase. Law enforcement officials are focused on preventing people from purchasing guns illegally. So he just made Lindsey Graham have it yesterday. Because, Lindsey Graham is an opponent of gun control because he's a Republican, maybe. I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe because he's a Republican. I don't even think he wants to have universal background checks. So, police chief from Milwaukee, we applaud you on the Diana Wright Show live online for taking on Senator Lindsey Graham, because the way he was nasty to Chuck Hagel when he was going through his nomination process, my goodness. And here he was trying the same thing, and I watched it and I thought, woo, yes. Because the police chief, he just gave it to him, and you could have seen he was ready for him with a bullet loaded to go. Yeah? Because, he just made him feel very small. I think after a while, you could see that Senator Graham was kind of squirming, So stand up to him. Good for you, Mr. Police chief from Milwaukee. We need more of you to stand up to these politicians when they're trying to score points with their constituents. So they act as if, wow, here I am doing this job and I'm so powerful, Someone need to get them down to earth and down to ground. Anyway. All right. A Minnesota congressman, continuing in this vein. Yes. Congressman from Minnesota, Mr. Ellison, Keith Ellison to be exact. Last night, I watched as I saw him put Mr. Sean Hannity in his place. And he told him, quote, frankly, you are the worst excuse for a journalist I have ever seen, unquote. Hannity pretended as if he didn't hear what the congressman said. He kept saying, what did you say? What did you say? And sounded so stupid about it because he had the audacity to put together some ridiculous video with the president talking with himself and whatever theatrics he was trying to prove last night. And the congressman just made him have it and just tell him, he just told Hannity, he said, I am here to tell you that what you just showed just now, you're practicing yellow journalism. That's just bad journalism, okay? By the way, is Sean Hannity a journalist? Is he? I don't think he is, actually. So, Congressman Ellison, maybe you need to find that out. I don't think he is indeed. You gave him a title that I don't think he has. So, Mr. Hannity invited Congressman Keith Ellison to his show to talk about nothing more than sequestration. But when Mr. Ellison got there, you see, Mr. Ellison, who is normally so calm, he cried at one hearing that they were talking about, the illegal aliens and whatever, and people were giving their testimonies, and he cried. And so you can see that he's a guy of deep emotion. And he just could not take it anymore. He just told Hannity off. All right. So we are happy to see that even though Congressman Keith Ellison normally is a very calm, quiet guy, he got totally rattled with Hannity last night. So he is what? Quote, frankly, you are the worst excuse for a journalist I have ever seen. Good for you, Congressman Ellison. We celebrate you for doing that. Great thing. Okay. All right. Well, this story is not a good one. And actually, when I read it, I thought to myself, so many people go to churches and rip off innocent church-going people. Some of them are Christians, some are not. Some are just church-goers. Some just go to do their multi-level marketing or find a girl or find a guy or whatever. Everybody seems to go to church for their own private reasons. All right? But in my opinion, you should actually be going to church to worship God and hear the scripture. And then you go home and read the scripture in full. Because most of the time the preachers just take out 1 or 2 verses. All right. So you need to go home and study for yourself. So you know the context in which they took the verse from. So it is actually a little embarrassing that it is the Winans family that's going through this. But here we have a young Bernie Madoff. Who knew that it would be Michael Winans Jr.? He's a member of the gospel music Winan family. He has been sentenced to, guess what? 14 years in the slammer. And what did he do, you might ask? ripping off lots of church folks. He promoted his investment scam in several churches. Now, Winans attracted more than 1,000 investors in 2007 and 2008. He promised 100% in 2 months. Now, I want to pause there for a moment because I want to talk to you people who are out there. Anyone, I don't care who the person is, your mother, your brother, your sister, your friend, your significant other who comes to you and tell you that if you give them your money to invest, they can give you 100% return in 2 months, kick them to the curb. Because that is too good to be true. And remember, I'm sure each of you, your grandmother or your mother or somebody said, if it's too good to be true, normally it actually is. So I continue here. Then he would use the money for what? As usual, just like Bernie Madoff, for personal expenses or to pay off the other investors that came in first into his Ponzi scheme. Yeah? About 600 investors are yet to see a penny of their money back. So Winans is only 30 years old. And which 30-year-old could come to me to tell me to invest my money with them? And they would give me 100% in 2 months. There is absolutely no 30-year-old or 60-year-old or 70 or 40 or 50-year-old that could come to me and say to me, give me $50,000 or $10,000 or whatever the investment is, and I will give you 100% return on your money in 2 months. Now, church folks, that's stupid, actually. Foolish behavior. No one should be able to con anyone with that kind of line because it's just not possible. Where on earth do you go and get 100% on your investment in 2 months? Where? Okay, yes, if you join one of those Ponzi schemes like he had in a big scale, maybe. But I just don't go there. I just don't deal with those things. Because my money, as small as it may be, I think belongs in my pocket. And people trying to get 100% on their investment in 2 months are trying to get rich quick. And those schemes, my friend, never work. It never comes out to be anything but grief and sorrow and pain. I have watched some women in some churches that are featured on CNBC in their scams show. And when I see those ladies crying because it was their last dollar that they had, how do you do that? How do you take out the last money you have and give it to someone that you don't even know? Because his name is Winan? Who does that? So all these people are now crying in their soup and can't get their money back. And the fact that he's going to jail for 14 years, that doesn't satisfy me if he had my money. And I wonder how many things they're going to have to sell to pay all these people back. Because normally these people who come up with these schemes, like Bernie Madoff, even though they sold all of his belongings and took away everything from his wife almost, that she had to be living with a friend in Boca in one of her rooms, they still couldn't pay off all the people he ripped off. So they're never able to compensate you for what you've lost. So going to jail, yeah, go to jail. But that is not good enough. And I am positive, based on what they said today, he has basically spent that money. I don't think those 600 people are going to get anything back. And him going to jail, yes, he'll be locked up. But I bet he probably go to jail trying to set up some scheme in there too. But those guys will murder him, so, with a whipping. So he will not have the opportunity to do that. I'm just so tired of these guys who you know, go around. And according to him, word of mouth grew the business, and his friends, you know, they were his voice of advertising. And then he's going to talk about he's sorry. I don't want to hear that you're sorry when you swindled my money. And church folks, beware of people who come to your church and tell you how much money you can make in a flash. It's not real. 100% on. I think only Mitt Romney knows how to do that. And he ain't telling. Because Mitt Romney is the only person that I know that have what is it, 100 or 200 million dollars in his IRA? I don't even think you're allowed to put more than $5,000 a year in the IRA. Which IRA does he have? I want to know. And he's so smart and such a financial whiz, I guess he figured a way out how to do it. But this little brother, Mr. Michael Winans Jr., who decided to rip off those church people, I hope he goes to jail and spend every single day of that 14 years. And he will be thinking about all the people he ripped off. And I will bet you that most of those people that were ripped off are people who are struggling and just simply gullible because they're desperate to make a buck. I remember when all those schemes were going on before some people got locked up in Jamaica. People were calling me at my house and, oh, this is so wonderful. You can do it in foreign exchange and you can do it in Jamaican dollars and you'll make your money back. And oh my goodness, I heard so much about it. But see, even if I would cave, my husband is too hard-headed. He said, if it's so good, they would not be telling you. All right? So just keep that in mind. Because I'm serious. You need to just stop allowing people to take you for a ride. How many times are church people going to be ripped off by these crazy people? And a 30-year-old dressed in a purple suit, no doubt, coming to tell you that he can give you 100% on your money in 2 months. All the churches, they should have whooped him out of there and tell him to go and learn his ABC or something. Trying to act like he is Mr. Madoff Jr. Oh, wow. I really feel bad for those 600 people who haven't gotten a cent back. And I really feel bad for them if it is indeed someone who actually needs the money and is not wealthy. Because wealthy people can always bounce back and find a way to make some more. But when you go to churches, man, and you prey on innocent people, it is plain and simply wrong. Once again, welcome to the Diana Wright Show live online. And we are continuing here with some health news that I don't know if it's good or it's bad, but for those of you who have family members or children that actually suffered from these things, maybe you will think it's good news. So, I begin here. Autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is also known as ADHD, major depression, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia may all share common genetic risk factors. In the largest study of its kind, researchers spotted this. So, I know it might be scary news for a lot of people this evening, because a lot of people, they might have kids with ADHD, or they're autistic, or they're simply bipolar or schizophrenic. But we're told by these researchers, and they're promoting it as the greatest thing that has happened, because now they actually know and can pinpoint and know that all of these genetic things are interrelated. So, gene variations governing brain function that may raise the risk for these devastating conditions. Scientists say these gene variants might become key targets for prevention or treatment. That's the good part. So the fact that they now know that these things are all interconnected, and they've dealt with the fact that, they have common genetic risk. They now say that it may become a little easier for them to target these things and come up with plans for prevention. What a wonderful thing that would be. Because for parents of autistic children, you see their pain and their struggle when they come to therapy. Yeah, it's very sad. And sometimes you could see just how drained that parent is, especially the mother. When they have an autistic child, or when a child has ADHD, which is basically attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and, they're trying to put your child on Ritalin in school, and they're trying to put them on all kind of medication. And you as a parent, you're so scared, you don't know what to do, because you don't know much about these things anyway. So now there's a little hope. I tell you, there's always a little hope coming from God somewhere. Because He gives the people the talent and the know-how to find these things. So this has become, and the scientists, they're so excited. They now feel that they can treat all of these interconnected conditions, disorders, and know, and hopefully they will be able to prevent them. So this study was conducted with lead researcher Dr. John Smoller. He's a professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School in Boston. So we thank him for that, and we hope that he will continue his research and find some good news for all these parents with kids who are schizophrenic or is autistic or ADHD, because it seems that if a child has ADHD, there's some touch of autism there, and bipolar could be part of it, and it's all interconnected. And deep depression, those kids normally get very depressed, from what the article was saying. So I hope they can continue their research and do great things to ease some of the distress that I see in mothers, especially the ones who have kids who are visibly autistic. All right? So it's good news and it's sad news at the same time. But and parents, when you go to school and they're telling you your child is ADHD and they're ready to put them on Ritalin, refuse that medication. Find some other way. Go research. Sit down at your computer and find some other way to do that. Do not give your kids any medication, because most of the times I think the medication just make them more wired. All right? So you take the time, parents. I know you're busy. I know your plate is already full, but take 10 minutes, even on your phone. You can get online on your phone and research the medications they're giving to your children before you just say, yes, doctor, and I'll go home and give it to him now. No. You do your due diligence, research it, and see those side effects of those medications, because the side effects are so bad some of the times, it's not even worth taking the stupid medication. So parents, I know there are lots of you out there who are struggling with kids who are autistic, and kids who are depressed, and kids who, have ADHD and are schizophrenic on top of it, and maybe bipolar. I urge you, whatever medication you're going to give to your child, be your child's advocate. Research that medication. Ask questions of the doctor. Do not be intimidated by your doctor. You need to ask questions. You cannot go to the doctor for a physical and then you leave that examining room without asking one question. You cannot do that. And I'm encouraging you, ladies and gentlemen, when you get to 50, you need to go and do a colonoscopy. It's very important, because some people go and there's crazy things going on down there at 50. Some people are lucky enough to go later on and everything is wonderful. But it is advised that you do go. On your 50th birthday, that should be one of your first doctor's appointment, a colonoscopy. It's crucial, it's important, and it's preventable. It's preventative medicine, stopping you from having colon cancer. That's one of the cancers that they can stop in its track if you go. Some people go at 50 and, they're unlucky because things have escalated more than they thought. But go anyway. It's better to know than not to know. The greatest thing in life is to know. So if you know, and if you go at 50 and it's bad news, then you deal with it and you treat it and you take care of it. But if you don't know, what you going to do? And most of the times when you go at 50, absolutely nothing is wrong with you. They might find a polyp here and a polyp there, and it's nothing to cry about. But you need to know. All right? So I'm pleading with you to do that for me. Colonoscopy, male and female, not just women. And I don't want to hear anybody telling me that, I don't want anybody to go into my butt. Well, if somebody's going to save your life by going into your butt, you need to do that. And that's the doctor. It's not a stranger. It's not, your doctor is a stranger, but I hope he's not. Because you normally would have a consultation with that doctor first, because most of the times, whoever is going to do that procedure of colonoscopy is recommended by your physician that you go to all the time. So trust your doctor to send you to a good person, and you go and take that test. Too many black men are dying of colon cancer because they're talking about they don't want anybody in their butt. That's not the point. This is your doctor. This is a doctor that's going to perform a procedure to either save your life or you stay and lose your life. Which one do you prefer? There's only two roads most of the times, The good one or the bad one. The right one or the wrong one. So I advise you and encourage you to go ahead, do that colonoscopy and be not afraid. It is no big deal. They put you to sleep. And when you wake up, it's all done. All right? And all you need is someone to drive you home. Sometimes you really don't need anybody to drive you home. You could drive yourself home. But the doctors, they have to protect themselves, you see. So they make sure you have someone pick you up or stay with you. But it's a harmless procedure. So why wait? And then something is growing there that you don't want to. So go and do it. Colonoscopy. Men and women. 50 years old. Make that your first appointment. I thank you for doing so. All right? Okay. I'm going to move to politics right now. But it's actually politics in a different kind of way. I'm going to talk about Bob Woodward. Because you see, Bob Woodward he's a guy that, found out all about that Watergate thing in the Nixon era. But because of that, he has gotten so many privileges of going into White Houses of various presidents, then writing books and selling them like hot bread and making lots of money. So I guess he decided that he will get into the conversation, should I call it? Because it's not really a conversation right now because no one is talking about sequestration. It's basically just the media that's talking and a few senators and Congress people here and there. So Mr. Woodward, the author, journalist, privileged journalist, I might say, decided to get himself in the middle of the argument to say basically that the president is lying and he's the one who wanted the sequester. Now, you see, it's kind of sad to see that people are so disloyal because this brother, Mr. Woodward, he gets the front row seat in every White House as long as I can remember anyway. And then he writes this book. And then the book sells and then he goes on these shows and he promotes the book. So maybe, just maybe the books weren't selling so fast this time. So he decided to put his 2 cents into the fray and no one asked him. Because he's trying to show that the president is the one and not the Republicans who wanted the sequester. So, of course, he's saying that someone at the White House threatened him in an email, only to find out that that person actually knows him very well. And only to find out also that most administrations, when you mess with whatever the president is doing, you don't just get a nice email like, you're going to be sorry or something, which is what he got. You're going to regret this or something like that. And I really don't care about what was said. My opinion is that he got so much access, he should have shut his mouth. Look at how many of us are out here in the trenches and we don't ever get an opportunity to be close to the president. And every president almost, he's gotten carte blanche access. And here he goes now. He is turning against. Never bite the hands that feed you, my brother. Because I hope that no other president will allow Bob Woodward that kind of access. So he could come out and run his mouth and talk a lot of crap anyway. Because I am told by most journalists, some I listened to today and some I researched, most of the times in other White Houses, when they respond to anything you say about them, it's normally with some curse words too. Not just the friendly one that he got today, talking about he was threatened. Nobody threatened you, Bob Woodward. You should be thankful that you get this great access. And little people like us get no access, and we would be 100% more loyal than you have been. Stop talking to. Go more, and you should not be going on any more talk shows to talk. You're on MSNBC, you're on CNN, you're everywhere. Stop talking. But I truly believe that the reason he's talking so much is because his book sales probably are not going so well, because the economy is still bad, just in case you didn't know. So these people who are privileged and who get access to presidents and whatever, then they decide that they want to join in on a conversation to show up the president, to make the president look like he's a liar. Total foolishness, and you should not have done it, Mr. Woodward. You should not have done it. And you should apologize to President Barack Obama and his staff for going and scandalizing the people. It's just wrong. Don't bite the hands that feed you. My grandmother always told me that. And they fed you information that you could sit and write a whole book. And every president, I know you did one with W. I know you did one before. So why? Why would you do this? It's not good for your reputation, because everyone is saying that what was said was not really a threat. So why are you calling it a threat? Are you trying to make friends with the Republicans or something? Or are you trying to get, an award from them? What are you looking for? We'd like to know. And I hope tomorrow the story has died anyway. But anyway, and just before I got on here, I am told that Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, he is in trouble with his health. Seems like they're really having problems, respiratory problems. I'm sure before the evening is out, I'll find out some more about that story and I'll bring it to you in the morning. Hugo Chavez, President of Venezuela, is not doing very well. That was what I heard just before I took the seat here and turned on the microphone. So we wish him well and hope that he survives whatever panic, because it seemed like just a panic when I was watching it before I got on. All right? So just wanted to bring you that. All right. Something that will make you laugh. I'm sure it will. A teacher was suspected of ripping off students by going through their backpacks. So no one could figure out if it was her or another student. So a genius young lady in the class decided to set up her smartphone in the lockers turn it on. Just have it, set in a way that it will snap the pictures of the thief. And guess what? It was their teacher that was stealing the money. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I don't know what. This teacher has been a teacher for over 30 years. Did you hear me? And she is stealing money from students' backpack that they have in their lockers. How shameful. So that student who decided to set her up, congratulations. I mean, I just think you are absolutely a genius. All right. So when I saw the story, I was just laughing because I thought to myself, 30 years teaching, she has no money. She has to be ripping off the students. Well, she need to find another job. Because if you're working in a profession for 30 years and you're not saving your money or having a little money or something, that means you're squandering the money or you're having too much retail therapy or something is wrong. Okay? So, teachers out there, I hope you're not doing the same thing. Because, in light of cell phones that can record sound and video in a flash, I think people should be on their Q's and their P's and their P's and Q's all the time. Because you're going to get caught, okay? All right, I just thought that would be a good laugh for you on this Thursday evening before the eve of the sequester. Okay? No one in Washington is talking to each other. The president is not speaking. Speaker Boehner is not speaking. And everybody's sorry for Speaker Boehner right now because everybody's saying he's going to lose his speakership because he cannot control those crazy Tea Party people in his caucus. Okay? So I actually heard someone say today that they are sorry for Speaker Boehner. He has the hardest, most difficult job in Washington, worse than the president. So, just wanted you to okay, Speaker Boehner, I give you a break. I give you a pass tonight, but you better get to work before the night is, and they have the nerve too. They just came back from vacation on Monday, and most of them have left town this evening on their trains and planes to their home state. How many days do they work? Do they even work at all? These guys are getting away with murder. And we are paying them. Don't forget, it's your tax dollars that's paying them, They are working for us. We are the government. And they want smaller government, yet they don't want to work. They just came back from 1 week vacation. And today, most of them were leaving Washington today, early in the day too. Like at about 2 o'clock. My goodness. Wow. And did you see the Pope's final farewell today? That was great. The helicopter flying over beautiful Italy, taking him to the vacation house where he will stay in quiet and peace and tranquility until the monastery at the Vatican is finished refurbishing. Then he will take up residency there and be very quiet, and he will not be advising the new Pope. Now, everyone is rooting for the youngest Pope. I think he's the youngest cardinal. I think he's 58 years old. I have nothing written down here. I'm just going by memory. Yeah, 58 years old. Everyone is rooting for him because they believe that he'll be more liberal. He'll be more wanting to get things done. He'll be there for a long time, so he has time to sort things out because he's only 58, even though, our ages don't matter these days because anyone can be taken out at any time. Life is so uncertain sometimes, and that's the reason I encourage you to live your life every single day to the fullest. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just keep the faith. Keep believing. Keep trusting God. And keep knowing that you know that when you pray, He hears you because it tells you so in the Bible. And when He hears you, He will grant you all of the petitions that you requested. So as you ponder your situation and you feel so bad about life and what life is doing to you, I am here to tell you that nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with your life. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor or whatever. Just pray. Read your Bible. The answers are in it. And if you find that you can't control yourself and you really need professional help, by all means, go get it. But work with God first. Yeah? And truly believe and trust and have faith in Him. And you will see how well it comes out. And as I said before, if you feel you cannot handle it on your own, go and seek professional help. The counselors are there. They will help you. Even if you have to call on one of these prayer lines by T.D. Jakes or, the different pastors on television, they all have prayer lines. Even if you have to do that, it's okay. At that time, they won't know who you are. You're anonymous. And you can pour your heart out. And that person on the other end of the phone won't know who you are. But yet you have managed to release what's breaking your heart and your soul and your spirit. And that person that you speak with on that phone may just give you the right word, say the right thing to pull you out of that segment of blue and depression and bring you back into the green so you can go again. So I plead with you this evening, no matter where you are, don't give up. Because giving up is not the answer. And giving up will get you absolutely nowhere. All right? Let's take a minute and remind you of an event that's coming up. And it's this Saturday, March 2nd. And Lenine Faith is inviting you to her book launching. And of course, she is the Diana Wright Show live online Young Power Person of the Month of February, which ends today, by the way. Yeah. Shine Bright Publishing, that's her publishing company, and her book is called Shine Bright. This Saturday, March 2nd, and it begins at 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. Takes place at C.B. Smith Park, that's in Pembroke Pines at 900 North Flamingo Drive. She will be reading from excerpts from the book at 12, at 2, and at 4. And also, the book, she says, was written in the spirit of from 3-year-old to 7 or 11. But she says the story is so inspiring that it can inspire anyone. So go out and support. There will be free food and beverages and everything for you. Make it a family fun day and go and join them in Pembroke Pines. I'm certainly going to try to get there. I will get there myself. And also, I'm reminding you to go to your calendars and mark October 5th for a special occasion that's coming up for you to get an opportunity, your opportunity, to save a life. To save a life through Save a Life Jamaica Foundation, headed by President Novlet Gale. And she is inviting you to come out, support the fundraising event, and this is your way of saving a life. So we invite you to do that and just mark your calendar, just write save this date. All right, and tell your friends about it because we're all trying to make a little contribution to help give a helping hand to other people. Okay, let's get back to some more news here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the SATs. They're planning to give themselves a makeover. They're getting I don't know how extreme the makeover will be, but they're getting a makeover, as they say. And they're going to change the way the test is written or the questions. And it's going to be more knowledge-based to show how much knowledge you have about things, and also to show about skills that you will actually need to go to college. So no date has been set yet as to when that new test will start. But just to let you know, parents, for those of you who have youngsters who will face that dreaded SAT exams, and if they don't pass it, they can't get into any college, and the kids are stressed out, and they study, and they break out in hives, and oh my goodness, what a traumatic time. And some of them fail, and some do pass. It's right up there with the FCAT, you know. The FCAT is another crazy exam, but I gather that Florida has finally decided to get rid of it and replace it with something else. I hope the something else isn't worse than the FCAT. Okay? A lot of parents send their kids to private schools because they just don't want to deal with that FCAT thing. I heard a woman one time said she'd rather go hungry and send her child to private school than let them subject themselves to that FCAT. It's such a horrible test. And it's a test that all the teachers, that's all they teach. They focus on that FCAT. So the kid doesn't have any time to learn. They're just learning to take a specific test. So you might be happy to know, I know a lot of you will probably know already, but the time is coming soon when the FCAT will be no more. And the sad thing is, you see, that most of these people who are setting these exams, if you take them away from the exam and just give them their own exam, they couldn't pass it. That's the bad thing. Yet they expect these youngsters who they stress out so much to pass these exams. And a lot of them just can't do it. Because a kid might be very smart in class and with their homework and their class quizzes and their class tests and stuff like that. But when it comes to a major exam, like the SATs or the FCAT, or every state has a different name for it, it is just, they sweat, they panic. You know, you wonder, this smart kid goes and they fail the FCAT or they fail the SAT. But the good thing about the SAT, they give you a couple chances so you can go back. So parents, I'm just encouraging you to, you know, the SAT is one that they're changing their format or their formula basically, but it's always going to be there. So start early, get some extra tutoring for your kids if they need it. And most of them need it because those exams are not based on what they are learning in class. They're what I call intelligence tests. Yeah. So you might just want to invest a little money and have them get them a tutor, but make sure you get the right tutor, because some of these tutoring companies, I don't even know what they do. You need to get a tutor. It's expensive. Some tutors charge $50, $70, $100 an hour. All right. But that one-on-one thing for those kids is very, very crucial and very important and can actually help them to improve their scores. So parents, if you have youngsters, you should just start saving for the SAT tutoring exam, okay? Because you do have, I'm serious, I don't care how smart the kid is. They need some kind of guidance to get them through those particular exams. So if you have young ones, just keep thinking about that. And they have, SAT books that you can buy and start practicing when they get close to the time to take the exam, just to ease them, let them get relaxed, because these poor kids, they have so much stress. A lot of them have too much homework, so much homework, and the books are big and heavy. I don't know how. I think we're going to have a generation of wheatbacks with all those backpacks. Yeah? So anyway, I am on another story here that I thought was going to go away, but it hasn't gone away. It's getting worse today, actually. The men have gotten into the action of criticizing Marissa Mayer, the CEO, 37-year-old of Yahoo. So men are getting into the criticism action now. They are hopping mad about what she's doing. And the audacity of her. Yes, she's a CEO, and she can do anything she wants because she's a CEO and she was brought in to fix the company. But my goodness, she's gotten a package of $100 million as her package to work as a CEO for Yahoo. What on earth is she doing for $100 million anyway? I always wonder about these CEOs and their jobs and the amount of money they make. 10 million, 100 million, 600 million. For what? What are they doing more than the little guy that's making the company at the bottom? How much more are they doing that they would be worth that much more? So, Miss 37-year-old, her $100 million package, and no one begrudges her for that. And then she builds a nursery next to her office for her daughter, her child that she had, and only took 2 weeks maternity leave. And here she is with her child next to her in her fabulous nursery next to her office and her $100 million package. So she's rich. And she has the nerve to try to take away from other working mothers the opportunity to be with their children, and they were given an agreement to telecommute. This story just gets worse every day as you find out more things. So men have decided to come to the defense of women now to say what Marissa is doing. Well, Sir Branson got on the boat the first day. he got on the boat the first day and told her that she's taking us backwards. Okay? So, I wonder if Marissa Mayer, CEO of Yahoo, 37-year-old, is going to reconsider or recalibrate or look within herself and say, remember those words I gave you this morning if you were watching, saying I was wrong, saying thank you, saying please, saying forgive me, are all important words and phrases that we need to exercise every single day. Because you're wondering, I am seriously wondering if she actually thought this through and wondered and pondered about the ramifications of the decision she was about to make that would affect hundreds of people that work for the company. And now someone is trying to make an excuse for her to say that, oh, well, maybe we haven't heard all of the story, because maybe when she looks at all the files of the people, she will then decide to, allow the people who do very good work while they stay at home, blah, blah, blah. Well, shouldn't she have done that before she wrote the memo? I would think so. I would think so. Give it some thought. Remember what I spoke about this morning about power? What would you do with power if you had it like the Pope, who was humble enough to realize that I am getting older and I cannot manage being the Pope for over 1 billion people. So I am humbly going to give it up. So someone else who's stronger and younger and have better health than I do can come in and do a better job. How many of us would have given up that power? Now see, I spoke about the abuse of power. And we have it right here. I guess Miss Marissa Mayer, 37-year-old, $100 million contract, built nursery next to her office, is trying to deny someone else who is not in a position of power like her their rights to be with their children as long as they're doing the job they're being paid for. What's wrong with that? Isn't Yahoo an internet company? Oh, people are saying, when you meet in the hallway and you have talks and you bounce ideas off each other, you can do it on the cell phone. That's why phones are so popular. You also have video conferencing. You also have, what they call the thing that you talk on the phone and you see yourself. It doesn't work. Tango. It doesn't work that well, but you have that too. So if you have a brilliant idea, Miss Marissa Mayer, CEO of Yahoo, and you want to get that person who is telecommuting, all you got to do is pick up your phone and go. Or Yahoo should have some kind of teleconferencing going on in their office. And boom, the person is right there. Why can't you do that? So you should have all the privileges, the $100 million plus The nursery next door, your child is 2 steps away, but you want other mothers to leave their children at home for someone else to raise them? Well, if I were those people, I would quit and find another job. Yeah. So, Miss Marissa, I hope you can take the heat in the kitchen, because this story is not dying. I thought it died, actually, when I, dealt with it. But no, it's not dying. The men have now joined into the fray. So we hope that you can take the heat. And I'm taking the heat out of here because it promises to be a wonderful weekend, I'm sure. And tomorrow morning at 10:30, I'll be right back here with you. Thank you so much for joining me. And I promise you that tomorrow will be a better day. Tomorrow evening will be a better evening. Tomorrow night will be a better night. Just keep hoping. Stay prayed up. Don't forget to pray. Even if you can only say the Lord's Prayer and nothing else. But you must always include thank you to go. Thank you, God, for this day that has passed. Always say thank you for whatever little blessing you thought you got that day. But don't go to bed without praying. When you wake up in the morning, pray before you get out of the bed. It makes your day seem so wonderful and so supernatural. It puts you in a frame that you're filled with the Holy Spirit. And when you pray, I want you to know and feel it and see what you're praying for. Put yourself in the situation that you're asking God to put you in. Visualize it. And then thank God for it and assume that it's already done. Yeah? On that note, I say thank you so much again for joining me. And don't forget, April 30th, National I Love Me Day. October 2nd, the day that Save a Life Jamaica Foundation is going to give you the opportunity to save a life in Jamaica and around the world. And if you liked more information, give us a call, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. And also, don't forget to like us on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up. Tweet us. Call us. Whatever you'd like. And we thank you. Thank you. From around the world and in the United States, I say good evening, ciao, au revoir, and adios.